Welcome to my presentation on the money tracker application demo, and my name is Yang. So the money tracker application basically helps the user to track his or her spending. Each spending record has a timestamp, category, and the amount of this spending. So now let's first do a very quick functionality demo. So here is the home page. We can see if we refresh it, we can see there's already some records inside the system. And now we can add a new expenses here. Say this time let's add an expense that spent $10 on maybe say travel. And then let's click the confirm button. We can see the travel record has been updated and added to the expense history. And now let's switch to another browser window that's in private browsing mode. And we can see the travel record also being updated on the homepage in the another browser window. And now if we go back to the homepage, and we can see that the travel record is also had been added there. And also we can see the date actually also being displayed here. Today is February 7th. And let's now try to add another record, maybe $20 on grocery. And let's click confirm, and we can see the record is also being updated here. And if we go back to the homepage, we can see the records also updated there. And that's basically all the functionality demos. And now let's switch to the storybook part. So on the storybook, I added two components. That's the button component and the navbar component. On the button component side, you can see different kinds of button. That's the primary button, the secondary button, and the disabled button. So because when the confirm add expense is being clicked, the button will be disabled. And on the navbar, I have a primary navbar and also a navbar that with a back button. For this component, we can customize the on-click function on this button. So here I'm just let the on-click function to trigger an alert function. But in the real application, the back button will trigger the navigate function to help the user to navigate to another page. And that's basically everything on the storybook side. And now let's go back to the code base. So I have a backend application and a front-end application, and also have a README file. In the README file, I specify how to run this application, both the backend and the front-end. And I also have all my references here on the backend side and the front-end side. So that's the README file. Now let's see the backend first. So the backend is pretty simple. It's just using Express and integrated with TypeScript, and also set up the connections with the MongoDB using Mongoose, and using the .env library to read the configuration from .env file, and using those Express middlewares and two very simple API. That's the post API to create a new expense record, and a get API to get all the expenses. And here is the setup of the socket IO server. You can see they are all using TypeScript. And when the new expense record being created, it will trigger an event to ask the front end to pull the new records. That's basically everything on the back end. So now let's switch to the front end part. So on the front end part, I'm using the React router DOM to help the application to do the routing on the front end. And I also have separate pages folder and components folder. So the pages folder, the page element on the page folder, they would just use those components from the components folder, and these components could be reused. And so here is the button component. We can see basically every component has a props type here, and so I'm using TypeScript here, and we can see the style component, so that I could only make this style apply to this specific component. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything.